These massive piles covering the side of Belvidere Mountain are not natural. They are enormous mounds of waste rock and mine tailings, more than 30 million tons in total, left behind by the industrial complex that once operated here. By the early 1930s, all of the asbestos mined in the United States came from this single site. Work continued for decades, but as the health risks surrounding the material became widely known, regulations tightened and demand declined, eventually leading to the facility's closure and abandonment in 1993. Today, open quarries, rusted buildings, and millions of tons of contaminated waste remain scattered across the property. Let's explore.
Well, let's just start walking. If someone comes, we're gonna have to try to dive off the side of the road. There's not much way around it. There's definitely dirt bike trails all over these mounds, so oddly enough, there are people ripping it up in here, which I feel like is the last place you really want to do that. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, look it. It's open right there. I've only done one other abandoned mine structure, and it kind of looked just like this on these tailing piles with the old shafts. So I wonder if we can actually get in and walk through, or if it's going to be collapsed below. Pretty insane, huh? Straight out of like a Western movie or something. Wow. I'm not sure how far up we're actually going to decide to go. I mean, there's a nice view looking down, but other than that, I kind of want to just get inside, see what we can get from the drone, because I feel like we might also be pretty exposed. I'm not sure, but we'll try and duck in here within the next few minutes here, hopefully, and I'll actually get to exploring this massive industrial wasteland.
Watch the web.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I almost just went head first into that. Just stick the camera in there. Careful. Alright, hey, I think, Henry, we're gonna get on the other side of this because I saw a hole into the building. That doesn't even look like the fucking entrance. Well, we might just want to go around then. That's not it.
Maybe he should have just gone like the shittiest
Wow.
They collapsed.
Look at that floor up there. Be careful. Yep, with an open door. And then if I spin behind me,
Oh my god.
yeah, it looks kind of crazy, doesn't it?
Is it sharp?
Yeah. Holy crud. I don't have my light on my camera yet, but that looks like it goes deep down. Henry actually brought the perfect light for this. You think it's flooded down there, or do you think it keeps going? It's hard to tell. Alright, well, for now at least.
Oh, poor baby.
Aw, dead bird. That's very sad. Guys, we're gonna have to be careful right here, too. Like, really watch your footing, because the ground kind of just says goodbye. Alright, this door is loud, so be careful with it. Wow. Look at these.
I'm really trusting this area.
Yeah, this is a bit safer. The wood doesn't feel as weak. I don't think it's really been exposed to many elements. Really gotta try to touch the least amount of stuff that we can here. This is all asbestos on these conveyor belts. We'll see if it keeps going or actually goes into the actual building itself now. I think this is close to the building. Wow. Ready for this? It's very cool. Wow. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh my god. Alright everyone, now that we're in off the roof, I'm going to give you a little bit of context into this abandoned asbestos factory. Basically, this place opened back in the early 1900s. I believe it was like 1903, 1905, something like that. And it operated up until the late 1900s, until I think 93, and then it shut down due to a whole bunch of things, including the very dangerous conditions of this, well, asbestos plant. And so at one point in time, this was the largest asbestos manufacturer in the United States. It produced asbestos for World War II and for just about anything else you could have thought of that asbestos and those fibers may have been used for at the time. So we're gonna see what else is on this upper level. I don't think there's much, besides maybe another view or two, and then we will head down and keep exploring. Wow. That's insane. This looks crazy. Look at the multicolored pipes over there. Pink and green. Oh, they expand this way. Ceramic. Porcelain plant. East Liverpool, Ohio. Bunch of material over there in the corner. Oh, we haven't even gone down and it's already getting cooler. On the stairs, nonetheless. What'd you find?
Here's that's all just asbestos.
Dude.
It's fucking toxic.
That is insane. So we don't want to breathe any of that in, guys. Otherwise, in 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we might have some problems. Look at that. I mean, oh. Each one of those are basically like little shards of glass that are unbreakable. Literally all asbestos. Probably gonna say that a million times, but I think it's maybe not the worst idea to remind ourselves. Those tones are crazy. Looks like there's other colored pipes down here. Blue ones. That may not be the most important thing to point out in here, but it is somewhat repetitive all the way down. This machinery all does the same function, it looks like. Westinghouse. Oh, I don't know if I want to touch that because that's also all asbestos. I really shouldn't probably have touched that. Oops. It's alright, just shower well afterwards. That's nuts. Oh, this cross section's nice. Better watch the floor again. This doesn't look safe at all. This is completely rotted out. Looks like that will support us, but just barely. Oh wow. Okay. Probably should be walking on something a little bit more safe, which isn't this. So we'll get this shot. That's kind of cool, and then turn around and go back. That might be the furnace or part of it. But, oh yeah, we're not liking that very much. And then this might be our safest path here. I'm not gonna lie. Yes. Alright. Squeeze through here and back on track. Very congested on these upper two floors. We'll have to see as we go down. I don't know if there's 3 or 4 floors if it opens up, but this is pretty nice right here, honestly. Wow. I'll pan up a little bit too. Looks somewhat similar. A little different maybe. Not much going on in this back corner, but we'll flip around. I guess just head this way. Huh. Looks like it could be even more repetitive down there, but we won't make any predictions yet. This looks insane though. Careful. This is a little different over here. Again, don't really want to touch anything. It's just covered in asbestos. Again, though, airflow is not too terrible, so I feel pretty comfortable not putting a mask on. Go drop down another floor here. Don't know if there's going to be any kind of control rooms or bigger control boards or panels, but we'll see. Looks like we're still quite far up. And, okay. Well, this is nice. Here's the loading elevator. All the way at the bottom. That's kind of cool. Wonder what the tonnage is on that. You can kind of see it in the dark, but I will pull back now, zoom out, and we'll come this way. Some more spare parts here in the corner, and then probably a little workshop. And I have to say, again, I want to be pretty careful because there's a house right there with people at it. Three Jumbo 2 F3-6. Here's one of the conveyor belts coming through the middle, and looks like it just goes down that way and then down and probably follows a pattern until it gets to the underground section. You said this is a metal shop? Wow. This is insane. Okay. Wow. So here's the opposing side of the conveyor belt, and it does go down many more floors. At least 2 or 3 until we're at the ground level, not even including the basement. Wow. Look at that. Wow. Let's see your creation. Look what Henry did, guys. He bent it. Let's push through here. Let's see what's going on in this back sector. So far, so good on the floor. Just wanted to see if there's any other shops or anything back here, just so I don't miss anything. Doesn't really look like it. And for the first time, I can say the smell really isn't very pleasant over here. It smells more moldy than anything else, but maybe it's time to put on that respirator. Here's where the conveyor belt reconnects. This is kind of a cool view down into here. Very cool, actually. Wow. That's insane. I'm seeing some really large looking tubes in front of me that I think we'll get a better view at in a second. Oh my goodness. Okay, this thing really looks like a factory now. Those upper floors were a little deceiving. This is so much better. Look at these. Whoa. That's crazy. Let's see if we can't go this way at all. Narrow platform. But we may be able to get a perspective. Yeah. This is more or less exactly what I was thinking of. Look at this. I mean, that's wild. I didn't know this place was to this scale. I thought the interior would be really crowded all the way through. I mean, this is still crowded, but it really opens up in its own way. Alright guys, bottom floor now. Your flashlight died? Look at that. The conveyor belts go deep into here. I think that's another building, or another part of the building at least. Damn. It might be time for me to pull my camera light out. That's wild. I'm gonna go look over here first, where there's still light. I don't really know if this goes down another level, or if this is considered to be the main floor, but I do think that we're gonna kind of follow this line and spin around here, because this is a very cool perspective. Looks like there is another floor here, so I think we can kind of get around. Yes, here. Oh wow. Alright, well, I'm just gonna take my phone light out, and we'll see if we need anything other than that, but this looks fine so far. Looks somewhat lit around the corner here, and I think this just goes, wow. I don't even know if I need the light here anymore. Different perspective. And I think that basically rounds off this bottom part. Crazy. We are gonna walk down these steps and see what's in here. Oh, it's gross. Looks like it's just kind of dark and muddy. I also have this string that's been wrapped around my foot for like 30 feet. Alright. See if this goes anywhere. I kind of expect it to, and yeah, not really at the same time. It just loops back up around with the stairs. And I really don't feel like getting my shoes any more wet, so I think we're good down here. Yeah, look at this string. It was attached to my foot the whole way as I was walking down. And it just goes all the way over here. I don't know how well you guys can see that. It's definitely getting darker out. It's not very late, but it was very bright in this whole place when we first came in. Not sure which stairs we're supposed to follow, but I guess we might as well go this way. Wow, now that was more of a climb than I was expecting. Whew, this whole place has me completely winded. There's no way the neighbors haven't heard us moving around at all. Well, here we go. We walked in through here, and if I just spin around, here's an exterior look from the bottom at the actual factory. Now, when I was at the top getting my drone footage, Henry told me that apparently this goes underground, which I probably shouldn't be surprised about. I don't know how much we're gonna really venture into that side of things, but we will see. This honestly looks like a little western mining town. But no, we are on the other side of the American East Coast. Looks like we can kind of traverse from over here, but I will spin to get one more good look at the building from here. Very cool. Wow. We'll probably peek our heads over here at some point, especially to see the water before we leave, but I'm assuming those are all just processing shafts that go from one to the next. Not much to see in there. There's some old machines up through there on the other side of that building. And then if I just kind of come down from these rocks, you guys be careful because we are in view of the one house that's right off the property. I don't know if this will be open or not, but we'll see. No. Locked. Looks like there might be some stuff in there though. But I guess we might as well just get this view real quick. Okay. I think I know what to expect in here. Might pull the light out depending on how the conditions are, but check this out. Actually, I think we can see just fine. Look at this caterpillar. Absolutely massive machine. Completely busted through. But I do remember seeing pictures of this. Basically a big garage or wear shop. And this is where they would have pulled up a vehicle to work on the underside. Would have had cage parts in there, and then offices throughout here. But I'll just step to this middle section here so I can get a really good view of this. Wow. It's dark in here, so it's funny that it's so well lit. I guess the light's coming through all the little cracks just kind of perfectly. Surprised this is honestly still in good shape. Okay, Manny and Henry caught up, and they're gonna go check out the big machine. I'm gonna come out of that building and try to get into this one, which is the one that we walked by originally. Looks like there's a few broken windows on the right-hand corner, but nothing that I really want to slip into. There's also a whole bunch of stuff going on here. But before I come out of there and look at all of that, what is going on with this? Dude, look at this. Massive dump truck. Yeah, this is sick. Flip across the way and see what's in here. This looks pretty destroyed, almost like a stable or a little barn. Probably just storage for other machines. Huh. Weird. Nothing really of note though. Which makes me wonder what's in here, because it looks similar but maybe a little bigger and more filled. I see a bunch of barrels. Oh, watch for rusty nails. And maybe not. Doesn't smell very great in here either. think that means probably shouldn't have big expectations for this side either, but we'll see. Okay. Still nothing. And then just to complete, I guess, the trio of spaces. I don't know how we're gonna fit through here, ow. Okay, well, that kind of answers the question of what's in these sheds. Is this a furnace? Like a waste disposal of some sorts? Definitely a furnace. How do we get in? Not that side. I don't think that's gonna open by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. I don't know, are we gonna be in visual range of the house? I really kind of want to see what's in here. Is it locked? Oh my gosh, that scared me. It's a bird's nest right above. And yeah, it is locked. Alright everyone, so after a very difficult entry into the building, I figured out there was a much easier way. And the first thing we stumbled upon is a jet ski. This thing is old. Old. Let's pan into and around here. Just a bunch of random stuff. I really... How many miles are on it? 9,862. Guys, Manny just found a pretty old JBL. Look at that. That's a classic. This warehouse has it all and nothing at all at the same time. Alright, so out of that really well gated off building for no reason at all, and we're gonna kind of turn left here. Off to our right just goes into what I could almost call the quarry of this place, where they would actually be extracting from, just like behind here where they were actually cutting or blowing up into the mountain itself. Looks gnarly. So we went in here, we went into the building over there, the big one. We tried these side ones here, and now we're gonna loop around and see the last couple of structures here. I don't know if there's gonna be too much in them, but aesthetically they look very pleasing, so let's explore. We also haven't seen a chariot at all, I believe, so I'm trying to keep my eyes out for that, for the chair of the episode. Not even sure where I'm really supposed to quote-unquote walk. Probably up here and around. I doubt these buildings have much to them, but if we see an opening, we probably will pop our heads in there. Oh wow, okay. Smells horrific in here. Just fumes. We're not gonna spend any more time in here whatsoever. But we are gonna look up. To here. Just heard what sounded like a truck driving through here. We have no idea what the security measures are. I know a few years ago they really seemed to care about this place, at least a little bit more than now, but it seems like they're kind of just letting people take their dirt bikes in here and stuff. Still have to be careful. This does look very cool though. Now this machine caught my eye when I was putting the drone up earlier, and it doesn't look like there's too much left to it. It's honestly a bucket of rust. but it looks cool. Again, pretty aesthetically pleasing. Wow. Look at that. The conveyor belts are actually collapsed, it looks like, from here on out. So I don't even know if we could take these if we wanted to. Maybe, it's possible. But we're gonna walk up to this guardrail here and just take a look, because that is a absolutely excellent view. Is this just a giant chute? Yeah, it is. Alright, so it's not actually collapsed, but I wonder if the mechanics are any different as you get down in there. But all the material was probably fed directly into here, which would, I guess, in turn make sense. Because if I, well, turn, this is our view. The man-made lake, most likely, with all the sediment in it. As far as I understand, this would have been the water they would have used in the facility itself. They would have drawn right from here, which is why those massive pipes are feeding from here and most likely up and somewhat following this track all the way to the main facility. And again, just look at that view. Well, we really can't get to the water, and it looks deep. Drops right off and in. This will probably be our last view. Amazing. Okay, I don't really feel like going in there. It's gonna be pretty empty anyway, and we've already seen how the mechanics work. They're just gonna push up through here and all the way back. I believe this is the same body of water. It's actually sparkling. I don't know if that's really visible on camera. Maybe a little bit. But this is nuts. We will get a chance to touch what I would like to call the asbestos water and maybe rinse my hand off really quickly. Ah, that's nice. This is so much cooler than the mine I went to a couple of years back. Looks like it's all closed off from every side, but we can see into here, which this is a smaller building, but it's one of the transition buildings that goes in a different direction. So we'll just stick our face in there for a half second. And this is all asbestos here, if we haven't shown you enough of it. All these are individual asbestos fibers. You can kind of see how they're together in certain points. I'll really zoom in there. Look at that. A full-on mound of it. Yeah, nothing really to see in there. So we'll pull out. Try not to bump the camera. See this perspective. And then I think it's time to kind of turn. Start walking back to the entrance. This is pretty much everything we'd want to see. I believe I at least poked my head into 90 to 95% of the structures here. Here's our view again. was something. This view is something. What I wanted to look through is I wonder if this was water at some point in time or a path to drive through. It's kind of hard to tell, but this is where the conveyor belt starts up again. It's kind of dark and blurry, but it begins right there and goes all the way up. And then the outside, this is our view. The little substation right here. Alright guys, so besides some files, there's pretty much nothing in this building that I'm stepping into. But there is a chair right as we walk in that we are going to name the Luke Explorer's Chair of the Episode. There's actually 3 in here, but this one is the only one that's upright with stuff on it. And is that a bird or an animal? Or there's something on there, but this is going to be the official Luke Explorer's Chair of the Episode. If you guys are enjoying, please drop a like, subscribe, and make sure to say hello to this chair. And I think it's about time for us to turn, put the light down, and walk on out of here. Nothing really of note in that building, but those 2 did say they were able to get this one open by climbing through the window. So we'll go check this out because this piqued my interest earlier, and unfortunately I did not push the door hard enough, it seems. Let's see. Alright, well, again, maybe not too much to note. I've really been going back and forth about taking my camera light out, and I just don't really think I need it. I mean, there is a nice big tool shop here with a ton of stuff, but it's kind of just piled up in corners. This is very cool though. I was wondering if there was going to be any shops full of stuff, and it looks like there is, but it's pretty rampaged in here. Bunch of lights and screws, but that's about it. Just for shits and giggles, again, we'll just walk over here, make sure we don't miss anything in these last couple of corners. This is kind of sweet. Huh. Look at that. Wow. What is it?
It's like mercury. That's mercury, bro. That's legit mercury.
What? No way. Wait, that... Dude.
So you can get it too pearly again. Oh, you're
I've
fucking it up, bro.
I've never seen that before.
Don't touch that shit.
Yeah, that's pretty horrifically bad for you, isn't it?